And
That's the top.
that's our
Wow.
list. That's our top 30.
Interesting
That's a
final three teams though. Interesting.
hey man, top. It's better than Washington.
We'll see. I'm playing now.
Washington ends up being
Washington's the best
first
duo in the league.
seed,
They win the title.
first.
If
Oh
they win the
God,
title, I mean,
I,
goddamn.
I'm s- I'm retiring, man.
You retiring? Okay.
I'm not watching ball anymore.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Quarter Kings. You're with your host, Austin Chang, and with me every other week, Ryan Hugh. How you doing?
I'm good, bro.
You chilling?
Just just chilling a bit. Hair's a little messy, so we got the hood on today.
Always clutch the hoodie. You know what I'm saying?
Always always coming in clutch.
You know what's his clutch?
Unfortunate that
This guy's clutch. That guy is clutch.
not these guys,
No,
bro.
that's not clutch.
Not these
Definitely not
guys.
clutch.
Not these guys. Man, I was so mad watching the game.
Did you watch the what? It was like a line drive. I wasn't a line drive, but like it was like a fly out, and like it just was foul, bro. It
It,
was. It was just
Chapman, right?
foul.
Was it
I,
Matt Chapman?
I think it was Chapman. It was
Cause
like
oh
this
my
for a foul, and then the next
god, bro.
pitch it hits into a double play.
Into the
Like
double play, yeah.
that would have
It was
tied the
Chapman.
game,
It was
bro.
Chapman.
God
So
damn.
first, the first game I started. Okay, this is off topic. This is baseball now. But the first game, Lewis hits 2 home runs, and this guy has a hamstring issue. Like holy, and we lose. The second game, we just threw it.
Just couldn't hit.
We couldn't hit. We subbed off the pitcher Barrios.
Way too early. I feel like.
That was the fourth inning. Oh god.
I mean, I don't understand.
Yeah, I'm not. It is what it is. We got next year, but this year was such a good team.
It's like every Toronto team just feels like okay. Not the Raptors are kind of different, but the Leafs and the Blue Jays are so identical with their teams. Like they're both teams with insane talent. You expect them to be better, but they just fall apart when it's time to win.
Yeah,
It's
they
a
just
shame.
it's they're choke artists. It is what it is.
It's sad how bad their hitting was this year, though. Like if you have you like your
Pitching was
biggest
amazing.
issue, yeah, which is crazy because you brought in the pitching to like to help because your batting was already good enough, and your
But this
pitching
year it
was
was a,
great, and
everyone
your
just
hitting was
kind of
terrible.
everyone just kind of went downhill for the hitting. Like
Yeah.
everyone's stats weren't up to par from
I
like a
think
year or
Bichette
2 years
played
ago.
pretty good the whole year, and except for when he's come back from injury. But then Vladdy just could
But
not.
he had a
Yeah,
down season.
really, really did. He won the home run derby, and but I don't think he didn't have 30 homers. Like I'm not even sure if he had 30.
Oh, he had like 26, and he didn't even reach triple digits for RBIs.
Ah, man, see,
Wild.
that's bad. That's bad for
That's
Vladdy.
that's for body. And then low key Chappie had a good season, but he was injured for like a good portion of the season, like whole month.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I think our hitting was the issue. I think Varsho actually had a pretty decent season.
Varsho OPS could have been better
I think
because he
defensively
struck out.
he was really
Defensively, he
sound,
was amazing,
but he's
but I
always good
think
defensively.
he struck out too much. Varsho struck out too much,
Mm.
but his power was there. He was like one of our better hitters in terms of for like raw power.
Next year is the year. After next year, maybe who knows? Maybe you got a treat for Shohei.
Shohei's a free agent, bro.
Oh yeah, he's gonna sign to
He,
Toronto.
he might just have to come to Toronto. We got a good
I mean,
Japanese population here. We got a good
right?
fan
If we
base
get
down
him,
here.
oof, I mean, people already hate the Blue Jays, but okay, wait. This is a Raptors podcast. Oh, not right. Oh my God, no bias.
Basketball
Sorry, this
podcast,
is a basketball podcast. This is a basketball podcast. It's a
for
Brooklyn Nets
real, for real.
podcast. So let's get back on topic because we
Let's
just
get
talked about
back on
baseball
top.
for about 4 minutes.
All right, let's get back right on track. Today is October 8th at 1:53 p.m.
Oof, okay.
and in Canada, it's going to be Thanksgiving. So I just wanted to say, Austin, I'm really thankful for you.
Aw,
Thankful for this podcast as well. Thankful for all our fans and anyone who just supported us along the way.
it's a really hard for a message, Ryan. And you're right. Thanksgiving is tomorrow. I'm actually gonna be at the gym tomorrow. Not even,
Okay.
not even with my family, which is pretty sad. But still, it is Thanksgiving, and of course, like Ryan said, thankful for everything that I've had in my life. Thankful for Ryan wearing this blue hoodie. Thankful for Ben Simmons, obviously, at all times. So yeah, I'm looking forward to Thanksgiving, eating that turkey and some cranberry. Cranberry sauce.
You eat turkey with cranberry sauce.
Cranberry sauce is so underrated, but like it's only a one-time thing in my opinion. Like
Okay, fine.
you
Fine.
can't. You
I'm
don't like cranberry
not a
sauce?
not a big fan of it.
What's wrong with it? I think it's
Oh,
sweet.
it's just something I don't I just don't vibe with that much. That's all.
So what do you have instead of like what's the sauce? You have gravy?
Oh, we're having hot pot tomorrow.
Oh, for Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
No turkey. What kind of
No
Thanksgiving?
turkey,
Wow, fake.
just hot pot, bro.
Fair enough. In your house, you have a hot pot little thing.
Oh, we're going out.
Where are you going? Haidilao? Lao? No way.
No, not
You're
Haidilao.
balling if you're going to Haidilao. Lao.
Bro, I don't have $200 like that.
Bro, that was I regret that so much. It hurt my wallet when I went that day. It was crazy.
Just go to Midland and Finch next time.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, they have a lot
Yeah,
of places that was.
yeah, they have like the Oiso or something like that there.
They have a Ding Tai Fung, which I don't think is even hot pot. It just sounds fun to say.
It just sounds fun to say exactly.
Do you like
All right, now, yeah.
Okay, okay, yeah.
All
Stop,
right, I'm
stop.
just saying like now we're talking about food.
Yo,
Like,
we're
holy,
just we're tier 10 yappers, bro. We're
bro,
actually
just
yapper town.
avoiding the topic altogether.
Okay. You brought Thanksgiving out of nowhere.
That is
Okay,
true.
so
I am
that's me
sorry,
for Blue Jays. That's you for Thanksgiving. Okay, now we're 1-on-1.
but thankful for you. That's
Of
period.
course, thankful for hot pot and Thanksgiving as well,
Yes, yes.
and you.
All right. Yeah, thank you. About a week ago, Damian Lillard got traded in a three-team deal. Finally, that saga is over. Bucks receive Dame. Blazers get Drew Holiday, Ayton, Tumani, Kamara, and
Big pickup.
yes, 3 first-round picks. The Suns received Yusuf Nurkic, Grayson Allen, Nazir Little, and Keon Johnson. Grade this trade for each team.
So okay, I think for the Blazers this is pretty much an A, maybe even leaning towards an A plus because I think that Milwaukee 2029 pick that they got is probably the most valuable like trade piece or most valuable pick I guess for the future, because in a few years like
Got
you
two of
probably
them.
yeah oh they got I mean I
Two
think
unprotected ones.
the 2029 one is definitely the big money one because I think the one before I think like Giannis will still be of age. Like you're still expecting to be pretty good, but by the time it hits that 2029 pick, Giannis is in his mid 30s. You're expecting Dame to probably be gone by then, and all the other guys, maybe Brooke could be retired by then. So you never know.
Yeah.
So that's big. So I think Portland really did well getting Aiton, who's a perennial 2010 guy. It's important to have something like that for your young guards to pass to. You don't have like a shitty big that can't finish at the rim like Nurkic, even though I love Nurkic. So Portland did really well. Obviously for Milwaukee, you got the best player in the deal, so you got to give them at least like a B plus for that, or even an A. They got what they wanted. And for the Suns, I think they actually kind of lost the steal a lot. I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with Aiden. I think, yes, he was disgruntled, but if you look at what he provided on the court, it's elite finishing at the rim. Maybe he's not the most, I guess, there at all times, not locked in at all times. He's still one of the best defenders at the rim when he wants to be. He's good on the short roll, and I think he has more potential to be scoring. He's pretty decent on the low block. Like every time they need a bucket, you throw it to him, he's probably gonna score it from the mid range. And you replace him with Nurkic, who makes you weaker defensively, and you already have kind of like a weak defense as it is. Like all of these, all the shots that teams get against the Suns are at the rim. So if you have someone like Nurkic down there, it's foul city. He's gonna foul out, and he's not a good defender. He's not a great finisher at the rim either. So you're kind of losing two of the most important skills a center needs. And the only thing you get back is Grayson Allen, who I think is pretty good. Keon Johnson doesn't really matter, and Nazir Little could maybe provide some wing depth, but that's about it. So I gotta give them maybe a C minus.
On my side, I thought Milwaukee getting Dame is probably the best thing that could have happened to that city.
For sure.
Giannis has threatened to leave a few weeks ago, and he was like, "Oh, if they're not a contender, I'm not signing." And look what they brought in. Look who they got. So Dame guarantees Giannis's long-term stay in Milwaukee. So A plus to them. Portland, they got a really nice haul. They got a really nice haul. They were able to get DeAndre Ayton from the Suns in that three-team deal. They were able to acquire Drew Holiday, which we'll touch upon real quick later as well. And then they got a bunch of draft picks, which is always great since those are so much further down the line in the future. Who knows where the Bucks will be, right? By that point, they are either rebuilding or retooling. So that draft pick could be really nice. So I'm giving them an A, just because they didn't receive the best player in the deal. But the overall package in itself, very nice for their long-term success.
Probably got the second best player, to be honest.
Drew?
Aiton. Out of all those
Yeah,
guys, I mean Nurkic, Drew, like I'm probably taking Ain for the next 3 years at least.
I guess, yeah. And then I low key thought the Suns did a decent job. Uh, just because they were depleted. They just sold off one of their max contract guys for for a bunch of assets. And now you could, depending on even if Nurkic doesn't perform that well, considering he's not a defensive minded guy, you could always just flip him later on for maybe someone a little more solid on D, since you have so much guys that are so offensively oriented. I think for Phoenix being able to squeeze themselves into this deal warrants a B minus.
You know what? I think it's fair enough that you brought up that they have more leverage now, I guess, in deals because Ain was one contract that was kind of tough to move, but now that you split it up into three, kind of mid
Four
like
different
yeah
contracts
like
that can
oh yeah it's four,
everyone can provide, right?
but
Yeah.
it's easy like it's more like three with Grayson Allen, Nazir Little, and Nurkic. Yeah, you're right. I guess they do have more leverage for trades, I guess, but I think with this team like you only have a window to win a championship, and with the teams in the West kind of gearing up to bolster their own teams. Like I think OKC is gonna make a run. Memphis is coming from the back. Like now is the best time to contend. And I think if you're trading away your number one center, it's really tough to kind of visualize if maybe down like if this year doesn't work out, like how they're gonna retool that roster and still be a number one contender with all these other
Mhm.
teams still trying to contend.
Yeah.
But I do see what you mean.
Yeah. I just think that a lot of people are focusing too much on the Nurkic side, and they're just like, oh, he can't play defense, and they already have lots of offensive guys. I just figured you can always trade the guy eventually. It's not a
I
big
think you're
deal.
right. I think you're right.
Yeah. And if anything, who doesn't want to play in Phoenix now? You have more opportunities to win a championship. Just you get someone like, I don't know, Dwight Howard, sign a minimum there, and he's a defensive guy, right?
But yes,
Who
I guess
knows?
you're right. I guess I am overrating the impact that losing Ain would value. I guess.
But
But I
Aiden in
guess yeah,
Portland,
that's pretty
He
big
gets so much more touches, so much more chances now.
for sure. Now with
Yeah.
Robert Williams, it is a bit kind of hard to
Mm-hmm.
see the fit, but Aiden will get majority of the starter minutes, and I'm excited. Like I think he's geared towards a really big season. He's gonna be refreshed, rejuvenated to be on a new team where he's gonna touch the ball
He
more.
looks so happy. He
He
looks so
does.
happy.
I've never seen him happier. Talk about dominating. I'm dominating, dude.
I
And
don't
last,
like that name. I'm sorry. I did
what
not
else
like
do you
that
want him to
name.
say, man? Like his name is Aiden. What do you want him to do, man? He didn't
I
choose
don't
that
know.
nickname, bro. Maybe he did,
Yeah.
but like, fuck, it's cool, good
You don't.
enough, good enough.
If you're not Kobe, you don't give yourself a nickname. That's just it.
Especially if you don't dominate, he shouldn't have that name because he got
Yeah, you should.
dominated actually last postseason.
Yeah.
But hey,
Robert
dominated.
Williams though,
This
we
is the
got
Celtics
Drew.
deal. Yeah,
Yeah, since the Celtics deal, literally like 2 3 days after the deal went down, the Celtics pulled the trigger, receiving Drew Holiday, and the Blazers got Robert Williams, Malcolm Brogdon, the 2024 Warriors first round pick, and a 2029 unprotected first round pick. So we're gonna grade these again.
I think the Celtics did really well here. You want to contend, and you've seen the last 3 years. I mean, they already traded smart because they're like, well, the last few years it just hasn't been working out. This team is not be able to get over that hump. You
I
trade
think they
smart for
brought in a
Porzingis.
better Marcus Smart
They really did. Like it's someone. It's a a more like defensively mind Marcus Smart, less fouls, and you
and
brought
more
someone who can.
offense.
Yeah, he could run the pick and roll, which is something that they really didn't have. So I gotta give Celtics at least an A for this. And for Portland, I mean, you just want to get off of him. You're probably gonna trade Brogdon as well, maybe down the line. I gotta give them an A as well. Like they got a few picks. They got Robert Williams, who's someone that maybe wasn't at his best place in Boston. Like you expect him to play more minutes for a team like Portland now, with all these young guys. He just wasn't getting the value that he should be at Boston. So I think both teams actually did pretty well as a team. That it's a trade that I think both teams won.
A plus for the Celtics. They already figured out who they needed to stay, who they needed to kind of let go, and this is their year to go all in, and that's what they did. They brought in Chris Stapps, signed him in for another 2 years. JT and JB are ready to prove that they're, and Drew Holiday is just gonna Drew, right? It's and everyone else, their surrounding cast is just so, it just complements them all so nicely.
Really
So
solid team.
yeah, exactly. So I can't. A plus is what I'll be giving the Celtics, and Portland. They get more trade assets. They get Malcolm Brogdon, which I think is going to the Clippers. That's just a personal opinion. And Robert Williams. I don't know what the fit will be like, but they got another young center that probably won't be run alongside Aiton, but uh, it'll be interesting to see. And even if it doesn't, you can always just move another one of them to build around Scoot and Sharp.
Yeah, like
An A. That's an A for me.
the way that Portland can just kind of pivot their season is interesting. I mean, even by the trade deadline, you can trade Grant, you can trade either Robert Williams or Aiden if you need to. You can trade Brogdon. Like there's so much directions you can go with this team, or you can just keep them together. Like you never know how this team is gonna work. So
Ooh.
I think Portland has so much more maneuverability now compared to last season, where it's like you have Grant, Nurkic, and Dame on like these big contracts. It's like it looks like it was too late to make this Dame trade. Like you thought Portland was gonna be fucked, but I think Portland's actually in a really good spot right now.
Portland might low key be like the Utah Jazz from last season.
What do you
You know
mean?
how they were like everyone thought, oh, last place won't make any noise, but
Mm.
they came off the season strong and were relatively competitive until the trade deadline when they just shipped everyone out. So I think that might happen in Portland this year.
Yeah, I think Portland. I mean, people talk about Scoot a lot and stuff. I think Simons is someone that people have been sleeping on. I mean, last season when he got the run, he averaged like close to like 25, 6, and 4 on like really good efficiency. And it's not like he's chucking shots. It's not like these young guys like even like LaMelo where they're just throwing up bullshit and he's averaging 20. He's averaging on good efficiency on a team that really wasn't that talented. So who knows this season with him being like the guy who's probably the number one guy on that team, you don't know what they could do, especially with Aiden. I think I'm a lot higher on Aiden than other people are, just because I think his value is actually really important, especially that 1 year. I think it was the bubble year,
Mm-hmm.
where I don't know, it was a bubble year where he defended Anthony Davis, Jokic, and like back-to-back series played really well. Even in the finals, he was pretty decent. So I don't know. I think Aiden has a lot of untapped potential, and we have a bunch of these guys that are on the cusp of becoming stars, like Simons and Aiden. Who knows? Maybe they could make a push like the Utah Jazz did.
Looking forward to the Blazers season. I know a lot of young guys might not work out, but we've seen young guys like the OKC in 2012, 2013 ish. They made a
Ooh,
no one really
you think
projected them to
that?
be.
Oh, that'd be crazy.
Oh, that's a really hot take because I
All
don't
right.
think they reach any of this like that level of stardom. But we've seen young teams take that huge ass leap from like, oh, they're the future to no, we're the now. So I don't
Now, if I have.
we're the now exactly. Not saying they are because Scoot is a rookie. Shaden Sharp has still a lot to prove, and everyone else just has not played with each other enough to
And they
know
have no three. It's
the
like
three is
Tybal.
non-existent with
They
that
have
team.
Tybal actually.
But we'll see. Maybe in 2 years they'll be climbing the ranks in the
Yeah,
West.
for sure.
Yeah, but like I'm saying, I think this new duo of Dame and Lillard, I think it
Damian
might
Lillard.
be
Damian Lillard.
sorry, Dame and Giannis might be, in my opinion, number one in the league now.
Bit of foreshadowing. I might
Little
have
bit
to
of
make a little argument there, but
ooh, okay. We'll hear your argument later on. Let's dive right into that. This
let's go.
week, this week we're going to be ranking the duos in the NBA right now. So you got 30 teams. That means you got what 60 players to rank.
Which is crazy. Like going into it, when you just look at this topic, NBA duos, it's like we have to rank all 30 teams. It looked like a lot to do. It looked like a big task.
Yeah,
Actually,
but
let me ask you, how did you go into it? Like, how did you just look through each team and decide, or how did you do it?
so when I was doing it, I was like, all right, who when you look at a team, usually you have a face or you have a player you associate with them. Like Kobe is with the Lakers, Tim Duncan is with the Spurs, Dirk Nowitzki is with the Mavericks. I can go on and on. But I was looking at, all right, who screams Houston right now? Who screams Cleveland right now? And then who is the most complementary piece that fits along with that face? And from there, that's how I decided that's the duo.
Okay, that's
I don't want two contrasting players. I'd rather have players that, if they were the only two players on this team, those would be the ones that would like lead this team into a somewhat more competitive zone.
Yeah, okay, that's fair
Yeah,
enough. That's kind of how I looked at
I
it
did.
too as well. So
You
yeah,
did too. All right, sure thing. You want to start with number 30?
number 30. Okay, we can start with number 30. I want to hear your number 30 because I had a lot of teams down here at this bottom of the barrel area. So I want to see who you went with.
Right from the bottom, I have Washington.
Wow, that's really
Yeah,
surprising. Washington's really surprising.
Kuzma and Poole.
That's last.
That's last.
How so, Ryan? How so?
Bro, they haven't played with each other
Okay,
ever.
that's fair enough.
Okay, so like I'm considering chemistry a lot too, because if you're the duo, you'll be like throwing lobs to each other. You'll be like setting picks and rolls for each other a lot, right? Or like you'll be on the wing together a lot, or down low together a lot. I don't know how each other play. So if you don't have that chemistry set, how are you gonna get things going,
But 30 is like, whew, I mean, these are.
bro? Come on.
I think these are both really talented players. Especially Poole, I think is really underrated now. He's a great assist guy. He's a really impressive scorer, one of the best scorers, I guess, in the whole
He had
league.
it
If you
down
come
here.
to just buckets,
He had it down here.
he had a dagger, but like he is playing behind Curry, and like he wanted to be a starter. And when he did get the chance to start, he was really good.
Yeah,
So you never know. I have a lot of faith in Poole next season. I think Poole could be like a number one guard on your team. And Kuzma is like a talented scorer as well. I mean, maybe he's not the greatest fit alongside Poole, but I think the duo still works better than some of the duos that I have down here, if I had to guess. Like I think they have a kind of a dynamic. They both kind of seem like they like each other already. Like they're meshing well. Like I expect next season both these guys to average at least 20 both.
team light
So
skin. Yeah, but
Team Liskin, like these are both the risk gods. So I have them at 30 is I don't know about that. Right? I don't know.
well, I don't know. They just don't seem. It's very clashing. The games are very clashing. They're both
Is
very
it though,
ball
Ryan?
dominant. It's
We've seen
very
that work
ball dominant.
before. We've seen that work before.
I guess.
Like teams
I
can
don't know.
share the possession. I
I
think it
think
comes
it's
down to
just
the
because
coach, to be
I
honest.
think yeah, it's also like very dependent on who gets more touches and if it'll work out.
Mm.
Mm. Who's your number 30?
I had Detroit at number 30, and I think that
Detroit was very close for me.
Detroit I had Cunningham and Jalen Duren for their duo right now, which is
Interesting.
because I think for the future, if you're looking at I guess for even next season, it's you're probably gonna probably running your offense through Kate a lot, but I'm not choosing Ivy, who's like the second guard on that team, who's not really a dynamic player with Kate. I think Duran being a lob threat, being a pick and roll partner for Kate, like they're gonna probably put a lot of trust into Duran to be that number one center. They're hoping that he can be that guy. So if I'm looking at Kate and Duran, it's like Cade's a proven player on this team, but Duran is just like kind of a rim runner. Like there's not much of a duo going on. Like I don't know. I think these guys just they have absolutely no synergy together at this moment. I mean, this compared to Poole and Kuzma, I'm not sure. I think this is. I think this probably is the worst duo in the league currently. Like if you're just looking at next season, it's like there's not really much going on here.
It's funny because I didn't even have that as a duo.
Who'd you have as the second guy?
For it's Cade and Boyan Bogdanovic.
Bogdanovich.
Yeah,
Where's the synergy there, right?
bro. Cade just
Dimes
passes.
it. Dimes it
Yeah,
to
and
him.
then Bogdanovic shoots it. It's that simple.
See, that should be the synergy for Indiana, but it's not. It should be Halliburton and Heald, but it's not because they're
But
bringing Heald off
I
the bench.
I have Turner.
Yeah, I
I
do
have
have
Turner
Turner.
for them. Yeah,
I do have
but
Turner.
I just figured yeah, because Bogdanovic is a proven scorer. Like
Okay.
he can work off ball next to Cade. It's happened before. It's gonna happen again. That's where Bogdanovic thrives. So they're not last in that regard for me.
You don't think Kuzma can catch and shoot the ball?
Nah, nah.
He's technically proven. He has done it last season, technically.
Yeah, but compared to Bogdanovic though, come on now. Like,
But Poole's better than Bogdanovich. I think
but
Kuzma's better than Bogdanovich too.
but I don't think Cade. I think Cade's better than both Kuzma and Poole.
Yeah, but like that whole team sucks. Like there's no real duo going on. It's just kind of my ball, your ball. I feel like at this point, I don't know. I think the thought of a duo, I think that Washington you can see the duo. Where Detroit's like it's just a bunch of guys on the team. Like there's not much of a duo going on.
Mm, I guess.
I don't know why I'm arguing this. These are still like some shit ass duos, but like it's like the battle of mid. I don't
No,
know.
this is the battle of the mids. This is what
This
it is
is
right
literally the battle of the mid. I don't know why we're arguing right now.
now. That's what I got. Kuzma and
That's
Poole, number 30. And you
mm,
got Duran and
okay.
Cade. All right. 29, who you got?
This is really a toss up. I had two teams here that I want to put, but I'll go with Sexton and Markkinen at 29.
Oh, okay.
I think Markkinen's a really talented player when it comes down to it. But the duo, it's impossible to see who it is because you would say that John Collins is probably their second best player after that, then maybe Walker Kessler, but there's not really a duo over there. So you have to look at their guards and is it Clarkson? I don't think that's much of a duo, I guess. Like I had to put Sexton. He's their only really true point guard on a team, which is really weird, because like on a team full of guards, you have no true point guards. But with this duo, is like Sexton he actually played pretty decent last season when he had the chance,
Yeah.
but I don't see the duo there. I think they're really two really different players. It's just they play different positions. Who knows? Maybe they can pair up on a lob threat, maybe. But for the time being, I think that this duo is just they're just two talented players on a team together. So they're better than Detroit, but they're probably not above the other guys that probably have synergy.
I low key had Markkinen and I had Clarkson as my duo. It's just because I think Clarkson is just the overall better player compared to Sexton right now. He's had
That's
a
fair
lot
enough.
more experience, and he's played with a lot. He's played with a bunch of guys. He knows how to play off ball next to a ball dominant guy. He's played with LeBron.
And Kobe.
He's played with Kobe. Like, come on. Like, if you have
That's all you
Markin
gotta
as your
hear.
number,
Yeah.
you have Markin as your number one. You know how to play off ball. You know how to find open looks, get the nice shots, right? Cut,
Okay.
cut properly. I think that duo is underrated in this league right now. So obviously, it's not top 15 or anything, but not this low in my opinion. But I didn't have Sexton at all, so I can't say for
Yeah, maybe if it
Sexton.
were Clarkson, maybe if I saw the dynamic that you saw, maybe I could put him higher. But
Yeah,
I guess you're right. But this dude down here with Sexton probably is pretty bad.
my next one, Bogdanovich and Cade. Like I said, it's it's not a perfect duo. It's not the best duo, but they can play with each other. We've seen it before last season, so it's not like starting from here on out. I think there's a little more chemistry between the guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just more of like, yeah, they're okay, but they're not LeBron and AD.
For sure not.
Yeah, that's what I got. Bogdanovich and Cade.
Yeah, fair enough. It's a good
Yeah.
spot. After them, who'd you have?
Uh, After my next one,
Hmm.
uh, Keldon Johnson and Devin Vassell.
Ooh, Keldon Johnson, Devin Vassell.
Yeah,
Interesting.
I know they just one of the, I think Vassell just signed a huge ass contract. I
He's
think the
definitely
other
one of the
day.
guys. He's definitely one of the
Yeah.
guys.
Um, I think though, I was debating whether it was going to be Wemby
I had a
in that
Wemby
duo.
personally.
Yeah, but my only thing was Wemby's going to be like targeted a whole lot this season. And it's not going to be more of a duo, but more of him just like if he gets like double teamed, he's just throwing out to the next open man. He's not. It's not. So I just figured like who has good chemistry with each other, who has trust with each other, and who can rely on each other in the tough moments of play. I just settled on these two were the faces of the Spurs for the last like season or two. So it kind of just makes sense, but they're
No, yeah,
not
they're nothing
they're
crazy,
not
but
LeBron and AD.
yeah.
That's just
Again, LeBron and AD. That's always the one we come back to.
yeah. But yeah, that's what I got.
That's interesting. After them, I actually had Jalen Green and Fred VanVleet as the
Yeah,
next duo.
that was a tough
Just
one
because
to put.
they're both talented players in their own regard, but the chemistry you just don't see how it's gonna work with so much guys on that team. Like for a duo to work, it's like they're the two guys that you know are the duo. They're the two best guys on the team. On this team, like I had to argue between so much different guys to put like Van Vliet, Jabari, Green, or Shangun and stuff. There's so much guys you can see being the number one and number two guy that it's hard to really rank these guys above any other duos that are coming up ahead. So I just had to put them on the spot.
I get it because they were my next one up too, Green and Van Vliet. I just argued that since Van Vliet is an all-star, he is
Hmm.
a star. Um, and I don't know if you saw the video of them working out together
Yeah, you see the
earlier this
synergy there. Yeah.
offseason. Yeah, I'm already seeing like there's good chemistry, there's good mentorship. They're not going to be a very good team since the Rockets aren't blowing anyone's minds right now. But I think Jalen Green and Fred VanVleet, that's a lot of talent right there. And Fred VanVleet has played off ball. I know if Jalen Green's going to be the one taking most of the shots, Fred VanVleet's chilling. He's making 60 million a year. He doesn't really
Yeah, he doesn't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like he's just there
exactly.
to be a vet.
Yeah. So Green and VanVleet can work, but it's not something I'm relying on as a top
It's no
top
LeBron
duo
or
in this
AD,
league.
you know.
Yeah, it's not LeBron or AD yet. Is it
I'll
the
go with my
next?
next one just because you already said him. I had Vassell and Wembanyama after
Mm,
them, just because I think after the Spurs in this situation, like I think the duos actually start to get a little bit better. But Vassell and Wembanyama, like obviously you had Keldon Johnson. I think you're right. Wemby will get a lot of attention from defenses this season, but I think it doesn't really matter. He's probably still their number two guy in that team, Wembanyama. I had a behind Vassell for now, and I think that Wemby's gonna get a lot of looks, a lot of touches, a lot of plays ran for him, opposed to Keldon Johnson, who's probably gonna have to settle for that backup role, not backup, like the backup ball handler role, just because I mean
well, he was the leading scorer last season.
he was, but I think this season Vassell he's the number one ball handler. I would have to say,
Yeah,
and behind him it's Keldon Johnson. Like he's the second ball handler on that team for now. But Wembanyama's still probably gonna get a lot of touches. He's gonna be that guy that they're gonna hope to run a lot of things through. Like this is the season to really experiment with their number one pick. Obviously, I don't think he's gonna play too many games. He's not gonna play the most minutes, but he's still probably gonna be the number two guy on the team for the Spurs. So I'll just have to put them here.
fair enough. I did have Wemby in brackets, just in
Okay.
case we wanted to go there, but I just tried and avoided like putting rookies
Yeah,
altogether.
it's tough. Yeah, with
Yeah, because
Wembanyama,
we
it's like the only one you can really make an argument. It's like, well,
that
on the
is true.
team,
That
it's like, yeah,
maybe Scoot,
maybe you can
but
put
I
Scoot
didn't even
there.
I had Scoot in brackets as well because I just didn't think they were that reliable right now.
Yeah, like I think I have the same duo as you for Portland as well.
Yeah, I had Simons and Jeremy Grant. That
Yeah,
was my Portland duo, and they're actually next.
oh, same. I actually had them next too.
Oh shit! All right, we're in synergy
Let's
now.
go. Let's go.
We're better than LeBron and AD.
Yeah, exactly.
Simons and Jeremy Grant. I just figured they did play with each other last season, but didn't have a good record.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah,
much.
that was my reasoning. It's just I couldn't really say anything else.
Yeah, I think the duo itself actually has some good, like, pretty much what Dame and Grant was doing. Like, you seen that they both can coexist. I think
Yeah,
Anthony is actually pretty similar to Dame in terms of play style.
yeah,
So it's like if Dame and Grant could work, then like Simmons and Grant, it shouldn't be shouldn't be too much worse than that. Like, I think Simmons is easily like a top 30 guard in the league. So I mean, you gotta expect these two to have some synergy together. Just not a great team. Hold on.
yeah. Overall, the team isn't great, but I don't think it's terrible.
Yeah, it's not a
But
terrible
I
duo.
do think at one point either one of them will be moved, and it's going to be either Grant and Scoot or Simons and Scoot.
Mm. Yeah,
Yeah,
who knows? Maybe it's Aiden. I think Scoot and Aiden has a good chance of happening in the future,
Scoot and
but
Aiden is interesting. Maybe both get moved, and we just
yo,
need to
I mean,
hold
that
them.
would be crazy. That would be crazy.
Bro, after the season's done, we just have to revisit this topic.
Yeah, we have to. We see like
Yeah.
half of these guys are good at not even be on their teams anymore.
Next one, I got Lamelo and Rozier.
Interesting. You put Rozier
I
instead of
I did
Bridges.
have Bridges. I did have Bridges, but Bridges has been out for a whole year. I don't know what that's going to be like.
Hmm.
And Rozier, he proved that he can still score 20 a game next to Lamelo. Well, Lamelo was all out for a good portion, but still,
He's still
Lamelo and
proved that he's a really
Rozier,
good scorer. Yeah.
yeah. And Lamelo he's just a great passer. Like if he can find the open look from Terry Rozier, it's 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 buckets.
Mm.
But I don't think it's a duo that's made to last. I don't think it's a duo that will win much games. By the end of the season, Rozier is probably not going to be on the team, and
Yeah,
Bridges
you'd
might just
expect
slide
that.
right in. Yeah.
Right.
Or Brandon Miller has a surprising campaign.
I don't think Brad Miller is touching the ball this year. Their coach just hates rookies. Just does not play
Yeah.
their
There.
rookies. And he's behind Hayward and Bridges probably.
Hayward is. Oh my God.
He'll
Just
probably
move
get
him.
moved, but yeah, honestly,
Just
like
move him, bro. Just
just
move
get him
him.
out of here, bro. Yeah,
Who you got?
after Poland, I just put Brooklyn and the duo.
Mm.
I mean, you already know the duo that I have. I have Mikal Bridges and Ben
And
Simmons.
Ben Simmons. Yeah.
Just because, I mean, even take out all the bias from it. Okay, like imagine I'm not wearing this jersey. I'm just wearing a black T-shirt. Simmons is gonna be starting at point guard, and if the way they're talking him up is true, you expect him to be like that lead ball handler on that team, which probably makes him back into like, like a number one, number two guy that he was like on Philly. So if you're expecting that, I think Simmons and Bridges they do have some synergy. The Simmons is a really good passer, and he's always had to pass to a big that his whole career. It's always been him and Embiid, and even when he was playing on Brooklyn the first year, it was him and Durant. And I think if he always has a knack for passing the shooters more than bigs. I feel like so if he's playing with Bridges, I mean, I expect Bridges to get a lot of looks, a lot of good chances to close out, catch the ball, attack right away. So if this duel works the way I expect it to, like they shouldn't really be here. I probably would put them a tier above, maybe even next
Mhm.
season if they can really get that all working. But for now, I think Bridges and Simmons is like this is like a baseline for them. Like I just have them above some of the guys that we mentioned for now. I think they're better than all the other duos that I mentioned. But I think they're in this area where they have a chance to really, solidify themselves as a good duo.
I actually have them a few spots ahead because I did put Mikal Bridges and Ben Simmons since I know I gotta respect the
Thank you,
guy.
Ryan. Thank you so much.
I was debating between Cam Johnson, but now I just figured Ben Simmons is starting. He's gonna be the main ball handler. So
He'll get the chance to prove that he's
yeah,
old Ben Simmons.
exactly. So that's what I was thinking. But the duo I had before them was Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner.
Mm.
Uh, Not a great team as well, but Paulo reigning rookie of the year. Uh, Franz Wagner's great overall player. He does a little bit of everything that you ask, and it's a very young duo. They've played with each other already, and the reason why they're not so far down below is just because I think they both possess superstar talent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they're. I don't think Orlando has anything to lose from continuing to try and experiment between the two of them. Just don't break them up.
Yeah. Like you already know that like these two guys are your number one and number two, which is a lot more than other teams pretty much have down here.
Yeah,
Like there's a solidified number one, number two. You expect to grow with these guys. So yeah, I think that they're deserving of the spot of like above Brooklyn, above Portland, like all these other. Now a team that I actually have pretty interesting that I have above Brooklyn for me is Indiana. I think Halburn and
mm.
Turner is a really good duo. Like in itself, you see them working. First of all, I don't think Turner's going to be on this team after this season. Second of all, I think
We say
Halburn.
that every year.
You do we do this every year, like, but he's always in trade talks. Turner, the duo makes a lot of sense. It's a big that can shoot and it's a guard that can pass. But I just think that the way the coach plays it's like they don't really use Turner as much as they should. Turner's usually sitting in the corner. Like I think Turner has a lot more potential to be like a low block kind of player, a player to get touches even in like the mid block, like above the free throw line. Like I think if they really use Turner the way they should, this duel would be a lot higher for me. They'd probably be in a tier above, alongside maybe Chicago even. But just the way that they're used is like, it just has not been working the way it should be. So I just have to put them down here. Like, they have the potential to break out, but for now, I think they're just around this Bridges Simmons area.
Yeah, that makes sense. They were ranked higher than my Mikal Bridges and Ben Simmons, which is next after Paulo and Franz Wagner. But that's just simply because Ben Simmons has not had the chance to play with Mikal Bridges yet. He was injured during that stretch.
Back injury, bro. Come on now.
Okay, fine. But Ben Simmons, like I said, can get the touches, and him and Ben Simmons, Mikal Bridges might form a lethal like defensive duo.
Oh yeah, on defense. I
Yeah,
mean, I
on
didn't even think about that. Like a defensive duo, that is also
bro,
pretty
that
impressive.
defensive
Yeah,
duo is scary.
that is like steals galore. I mean, that wingspan just. They both put
Exactly.
the hands out like this. You can't pass the ball into the paint.
It was a Great Wall of China. It's
It's straight up, dude. That's where Simmons was supposed to play last season. You know what I'm saying? Okay,
it's
as
a
Simmons fans, I shouldn't be saying that, but like that's a joke that people made. That's a joke that people made.
yeah, but yeah, I'm just thinking of like the defensive duo that Brooklyn has because Ben Simmons might be limited offensively a bit, but Mikal Bridges does make up for it a bit more, right?
Yeah,
I just figured if I had put Cam Johnson instead, that'd be basically one guy doing all the defense and the other one doing all the
just a bunch of
offense.
shooting. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So I just feel like, yeah, to make it more balanced, and Simmons was an all-star at one point. Who says he can't get back to that form since he's so young?
Oh, hey, not just All Star Ryan, All NBA. All right, you gotta remember that he was All NBA 13. Come on now, respect All
Third
NBA
team, third
Simmons.
team, yes, okay.
So was Siakam, bro. So was Siakam.
Brooklyn, and then I got Indiana.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So same reasoning for you. I just have more faith in the duo. I just have faith in the Pacers.
You're a Pacers fan. Makes
Yeah,
sense.
I'm a
Makes
Pacers
sense.
fan, exactly. Yeah. You're a Brooklyn fan, makes sense.
Of course, right?
So that's you said the exact same things. So
Hmm. Yeah, I think so. Like the teams we talked about so far, we all have the same thing. So after Indiana for me, I had Washington, Orlando,
mm,
then Charlotte. Listen, I have a lot of faith
Um,
in Jordan Poole next season. I think he's poised for that breakout year. You know what I'm
he's
saying?
gonna have a breakout, but I don't know if that duo's gonna get any wins, bro.
I mean, you never know. I think this. Okay, I'm. So the criteria that I had is like all over the place. I feel like it's like the synergy together, the amount of wins they're gonna get, like just as everything into one. I just think Washington, like the synergy, I think it really does work. Like two scorers at different positions, it does work for me. I think it has a chance to like be a pretty dynamic duo, especially with a rim running big man like
Yeah.
Daniel Gafford. Like you never know. You never. I just have a lot of faith in these guys. I'm sorry, Ryan.
Hey, if he had said Poole and Gafford, I would have respected
Oh
it. But
yeah. Okay. All right. Fair enough. So you're a Kuzma. Okay. So Kuzma's a problem here. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough.
bro, it's two ball dominant guys. Like I don't see how it's gonna work out like that.
I
Especially
mean,
if they
I
don't have
mean,
that synergy.
I, I think Poole like it's like okay. I don't want to say it, but
Every
like
every
it's
time
like
Poole every time Poole plays, he needs the ball. Like
he does not right. He does not. You've seen him when he plays with Draymond Green. He is an off-ball menace. He shoots off the dribble so well. That's one of his biggest strengths is shooting off the dribble. Like, if he comes off the
that was
screens,
before he got knocked out by Draymond. But
man, Draymond's a bitch for that, man. Draymond needs to suck it up. You know, he needs to accept that Poole's better than him. All right, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Draymond. Poole's better than you. I have faith in Poole. All right. I'm sorry.
okay,
Poole
it's
party.
Kuzma. It's Kuzma.
Okay, it's Kuzma. Kuzma. I like Kuzma too. That's my guy. 6'9", can shoot the three. Not the greatest
Bro,
defender.
yeah, yeah. That team has no defense. That duo has no defense.
That dude does have no defense. I can argue
Yeah,
with that.
yeah.
But the synergy, I see the vision. I see the vision.
We'll see. We'll see.
We'll see. We'll see. We'll see.
Give us a month into the season, and I'll let you know.
You're gonna roast me because I had them above Indiana, so not here the end of this. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
But at least we have the same
Uh,
set of teams down here.
pretty
Nice.
much, pretty much. This is like the bottom of the barrel. I think we're
Yeah,
relatively just the orders that might be a
exactly.
little sketchy.
For me, probably yeah.
Utah ranks next for me. Markkanen and Jordan Clarkson. They played together. They play different positions, and they're not the greatest defensively, in my opinion. I don't think Markkanen is a great defender, but
He's actually one of the best rim protectors in the league.
but like on the wing though, because that's where he's primarily playing.
Yeah, he is gonna be playing at the three. He is gonna be playing at the
Yeah,
three.
like
Yeah.
the small, not the smaller, like the fastest guys are going to get ahead of him. He's good at chasing down blocks and everything,
Mm.
but like he'll be like, oops, and then LeBron's just gonna 21st year in the league. LeBron is gonna still be faster than Laurie
38
Markkinen.
year old fucking LeBron just gonna blow by Markkinen.
Yeah,
But you never know. I
so
think Markkinen he has potential to be a better defender for sure.
he does. He has the physical tools,
Yeah.
but he's so focused on the offensive end now. I don't see him. I don't see the duo being any higher than that.
Mm. That's fair enough.
Yeah,
That's fair enough.
yeah. Maybe I just don't like how fast he is, how slow he is. So
Markkinen.
yeah,
I mean, he's graceful for 6'11". Like he is pretty graceful to be
yeah,
honest. Might
yeah.
be the most graceful 6'11" player we've seen this in
Well, I
this
have
NBA.
Giannis got some
But
competition here.
graceful, like Giannis is kind of just like you know what I'm saying. The hardest, he's just run
He's
and
a
dunk. You
buffalo.
know,
He's a buffalo,
yeah
bro.
he's running Mr. Run and Dunk. Like Markkinen low key is like, you know, he's kind of shifty a little
Ooh,
bit.
he is. He is. I'm not
So
gonna
you
lie
never
with
know. Maybe that's the argument we have to make for another year. Most graceful 6'11" player, dude.
that. Markin and Jordan Clarkson are my next in this.
That's fair enough. So
Who got?
I split them up into tiers, and I rank. So this is my tier three. I moved past tier four. The
Hmm.
last team in tier three for me is the Raptors. I think I had Siakam and Scotty, even though they're both in conflicting positions. I think the synergy kind of is there. Like Siakam is a shooting four. He's a ball dominant guy, and hopefully this season he gets the ball more. And Scotty's like a pure playmaker at the. He's probably playing the three, I guess, alongside
Hmm.
Siakam. But when it comes down to the clutch, which is where I'm looking at this duo working, Scotty can be that lead ball handler, playing off the pick and roll or pick and pop with Siakam, and it'll work really well. I think Scotty's a really good decision maker for his age. One of the most underrated players. I feel like at this point, people say he's gonna be a bust next year. I don't see it. I think he's gonna be really good next year. And the way that both of them play, they're like the same position, same size, but their play styles are completely different. It's like a number one guy in Siakam, and Scotty's like your number two that's passing the ball, finding the open looks, dumping it off to the bigs. So I think these are both really talented players, and I didn't have them in the tier below because Siakam is an all NBA player and a solidified one. And with the talent that Scotty has alongside him, he can be an all-star kind of player. I think they just deserve to not be in that bottom tier.
100% agree. They were my next duo as well. I just figured, uh, all NBA guy with a potential All Star next year. I don't see.
Yeah,
I
they're
just
not
don't
at bottom.
see.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't see much 3-point shooting. That's all.
that's fair
But
enough.
but then again, you have so many good shooters around them. You have Gary Trent, you have Grady Dick, you have
OG.
Dennis Shooter, who's decent. OG Anunoby's there as well. Like it's a lot of good 3-point shooters around you. You don't need to rely too much, but as a duo in itself, Pascal and Scotty are very solid. I don't think they are on the same tier as Kuzma and Poole, but they're
Definitely
definitely
not.
better.
Definitely not on the same tier as them. Definitely not. I'll be honest there. You know, I'm a
Yeah.
Wizards believer, but yeah,
No, you're not that. You're not like that
I'm not that delusional. I'll say that.
yet. But yeah, I was debating whether Gary Trent Jr. was one of them, but then overlooking like he came off the bench a lot. He was more of a spot up shooter.
Yeah.
And then when he did have the ball, like when he did score, it was mainly Fred VanVleet with him, alongside him. Not so much Pascal and GTJ, but
Mhm.
Pascal and Scotty have that chemistry. They can work together fine.
Well, what I'll say, no bias, but we are Raptors fans. Let's be honest. I think this team is built really well. I'll just say that. I think it's a really well built team. Shooter at the point, Trent at the two, I guess, or OG, Siakam, Scotty, and then Pirtle at the five, with a backup big
So
and Boucher. It's a pretty impressive team. Like, if they trade for Dame, I think that they'd be contenders. Honestly,
if they traded for Dame, they
and kept
probably would have
Scotty.
been, yeah, they probably would have been like shot way up. But I
Hmm.
think this team overall is built for maybe a 6 seed.
Yeah,
I don't.
like I think yeah,
I can't see them any higher, but they do have a
especially with the teams
shot.
in the East. Yeah, definitely not higher. The teams
Yeah,
in the East that they have. Yeah,
but definitely a shot, maybe for a second round.
I could see it. Like they're built for the playoffs. I feel like all these players, if you
Conference finals
look at it,
is a little more of a stretch, but second round is definitely doable.
like Schroeder as a point guard, like a gritty point guard that can shoot the ball. Trent a scorer off the bench. Scotty good playmaker in the clutch.
OG Anunoby right there,
OG 3 and D. Siakam as their number one option,
All
and
NBA
Pirtle
too.
as their rim protector. I mean, that is like that's a team made for the playoffs. I'll be honest.
Yeah, and you only play like 7 8 guys in the playoffs either way. So
Exactly, and you have guys off the bench that you could trust, like Thaddeus Young, Otto Porter, maybe Grady Dick, Boucher,
maybe
Ochua. Like you can
yeah,
trust at least two of those guys, three of those guys.
yeah.
So hey, I'm just saying, like no
It's a
bias, but
team.
whew, that's a
No,
team.
no bias. It's a team, bro.
That's a well built roster. I'll be
It's
honest.
a it's a it's a team of dogs.
Yeah, it's a team of
Yeah,
dogs for sure.
yeah.
Except
I
for
like
Boucher,
their
because Boucher is pretty soft. I'll be honest, but
yeah.
that's a team of dogs.
Next up, Levine and Demar.
Whew, okay, okay, interesting.
Yeah, Levine and Demar. I don't see this duo. This duo's been together for what, 3 years now? They haven't accomplished much. I'm sorry. They had their peak. It was their first year together, and it's just been kind of downhill ever since.
It's been sad, yeah.
Yeah, I like the two players. I like both of them, but it's tough for me to say that they're a winning duo. So, but they like talent wise, they are better
Yeah,
than
talent wise,
everyone
they are
else.
there. Yeah,
But like everything else is just not there.
yeah. I had Chicago a little bit higher, but I just think that they do have their own faults. Like they do end up playing pretty bad when they need to play really good. But I think their biggest fault is the team around them. I just don't think they have a true point guard, and Patrick Williams has just not come together. Like he's just not being the player that he needs to be. If they had Lonzo Ball here, who knows? I think this dude would rank a bit higher for me. But
Yeah,
for the time being, like they're just not. But the team is not performing at a level they need to for these guys to be ranked higher. That's all it is for me. I think the duo works, but the teams I have above them, they're just not winning enough to be ranked
yeah.
above. But yeah, I had Chicago a bit higher. Actually, after Raptors, I had OKC. I had J Dub and I had SGA at this area. Now, last season they did play really well together, but you never know with their synergy next season with how teams are
Yeah.
going to probably drop plays. They're going to know how J Dub plays. It's going to be tough to see them replicating that. But I think SGA in itself is a really good player. And I think any you could have picked any of the guys on that team to be the second guy, and it probably would have worked. But I don't think the position would have changed for me. I think this team has a lot of scoring potential. They're both pretty sound defensively, especially SGA, who has been really impressive. But I think all in all, like the talent probably isn't there for the second guy on the team to where I would
Yeah.
put them above a team like Chicago.
Yeah, they were actually my next team up right after Chicago. You have all NBA first team SGA scoring 31 points a game,
Canada represent.
and then you have Josh Giddey scoring 16 points a game. Like like yes, Team Australia, he's such a good player for you guys, but like in comparison, the stats are just too drastic. It's just
It's
very
not all about
difficult
points,
for.
Ryan. It's not all about points. You know what I'm
I
saying? It's
know, but
all.
like if you need someone to rely on next, like you can't have SGA taking all the shots. Like he needs a running mate if he can't get things going,
Mm,
right? So I just figured like uh we talked about OKC a few episodes ago. I think they're bound. I think as Josh Giddey's going to make a leap this season. Uh, so they are ranked higher than Chicago for me. But I just figured, if we are to do it based off of what we know right now, Shea is probably the number one guy, and number two can be a bunch of other guys
exactly.
underneath. And we still don't even know how Chet Holmgren plays yet.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe that can be the number two.
Maybe he's a number two.
But yeah, but for I think for both of us, like the talent that SJ possesses, just like bolsters
It
whatever duo that it's gonna be.
skyrockets this team.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah. Now actually, so I had Chicago above OKC,
Mhm.
but I below them I had Atlanta. I had Trey Young and Dejounte Murray,
Ooh, that's a yeah.
which is
That's a
I think the team last season it like both of them just didn't play as well as they should have. And if you take out Collins, you have a true identity for this team to where I think both
that's
players can actually, play more confidently, knowing that okay, well now we have Okongwu and Capella as our bigs, like we can actually have develop a synergy with these guys, especially with Okongwu. I think has a lot of potential for next season. Trey Young probably gonna shoot better. I think he actually shot pretty trash last season. Like
hmm
for him, like he had a lot of games where he just was not hitting the net. And Dejounte Murray defensively sound. Hopefully next season he gets better defensively. Last season I think he actually dropped off a little bit, but the stats will be there for both guys, and I think this team could probably should be making the playoffs as an 8
yeah
7 seed. Like I think they should be making the playoffs. I think next season they're probably gonna hopefully make a run for past the playing games.
yeah. Uh, I had this duo ranked a little higher. I just figured it's kind of just they just complement each other's weaknesses and strengths super well. Like Dejounte Murray may not be the best 3-point shooter, but then you have what a 3-point contest like contestant right next to you.
What
Oh,
contest guy?
you're not that good at defense. Oh, you got a pretty good defender. Like it just complements each other, like their play style. So I just figured like if they can get things going this season, especially with John Collins out of the picture and no more, I don't get any more touches. You got
Hey,
someone,
fair enough for John Collins. He deserved to say that. He was taunted, man. He ruined them in Atlanta.
yeah. But I just figured, yeah, it's it's a higher ranked duo than most people should think. The next one might surprise you for me,
Okay.
Ant and Cat.
I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it.
Ant and
That's the next
Cat.
team I had too.
Yeah. I just figured because outside of Ant and Cat, it's more of just like, yeah, they're there, but it's and I like Ant and Cat. I think Ant is the true superstar of this team. Just there's no debate around that. I think between the two of us.
Hmm.
And Cat, not that he's regressed, but it's more just doesn't. I don't know. I don't see them
You don't
meshing
see it.
together now. Yeah, I don't see it. Like Cat's got to go, man.
Damn, that's surprising. That's surprising. So I did have. So this is for me the next tier above Chicago. I had tier two at the bottom, Edwards and Towns. I think Towns just had a just like a down year, like not down year, but like just kind of off year, I guess. Like I think Towns is gonna be right back to where he was last season, like before he
Hopefully.
went down with injury. And we've seen it in FIBA. We've seen it now in the preseason, which is just preseason, we know. But I think Talent he's gonna get back to where he was. Gobert should get back to where he was, which should help Towns in return to not have to play all that like as much defense as he should be, because Towns is not really a great defender.
Yeah.
Edwards is hopefully gonna make that leap to be a consistent 25 plus per game scorer, and Towns is he's shown what he can do. He's probably the best shooting big man of all time. I think this dude it really has a lot of synergy together. Like you have a forward that can attack the basket, and Towns is pretty decent at closeouts, like attacking closeouts. But if I'm looking at the people above Minnesota, which is now we're getting into the real duos, it's like they're just not better than the other duos. Like point blank period. Like they're better than Levine DeRozan, Young Murray, but
Mhm.
I think this is like kind of the spot where it separates like the good duos from like the great duos.
Yeah.
But
I just
I have
think
more belief in Towns though. I do have more belief in Towns. Towns is I
I
think
yeah, that's the thing with me. I don't believe in Towns that much. He was out for fantasy for a good portion for me last season. It just the
come on,
swat.
it's always
My
comes back
respect.
to this, Ryan. It always comes back to this, dude.
But overall, he is a good player. It's just I don't see. I
I don't see the
think
fantasy
if it were,
production. The fantasy production is not there, man. It's not a good fantasy player. So I gotta rank him down here.
if it was Ant and Gobert, I'll rank it higher. But Anton
Really,
Cat, yeah, I think if Ant and Gobert, it would have been higher. Just
Gobert is
because
like
what
a
one,
zero on offense.
I don't know. I think Gobert just gets shit on a lot. It's just
Well, compared to
he's
Towns, it's like Towns is like amazing shooter, pretty decent finisher. Like he had a couple bad playoffs. Okay, like it's fine. Like he's gonna improve hopefully. Like Towns, he's still like a number one kind of scorer. I don't know. Gobert
it's
is like, man can't even make a post hook. Like this guy does nothing in offense. I like Gobert. I'm actually a Gobert believer, but like compared to Towns, like come on now.
I don't know. I think Anton Gobert might mesh a little better than Anton Cat because you put Cat out there for trades and you can get a whole lot of stuff for him that complement that team.
That's true. I agree with you
But
there.
and then Anton Gobert can then work much better because you have all these surrounding pieces that can cover up any weaknesses you got.
Hmm.
But Ant and Cat is tougher just because they're both offensively minded. There's just it's tough to get any defense going if it's you're playing like a 2v2 type of game in that situation in the playoffs especially.
Yeah, I actually in that case, if we're moving Towns, I agree with you. I think
Mm-hmm.
Ant and Gobert would work much better. We've seen it with Mitchell and Gobert. Like they
Yeah.
pretty much designed the whole offense through Gobert on Utah, and they were the number one seed for like 2 3 years. So we've seen it work before. And if you trade Cat, just imagine what you can get in return. I mean, you have Ant, you have Jaden McDaniels, and Gobert as like your building blocks. That's a really solid foundation for like a playoff team. So if you just get like a two in there that could defend, can kind of play off ball, like maybe you can get OG. You know, you never know. If you can get an OG on that team, maybe even get Trent on top of that. Like that's a really solid team for the playoffs. So I do have a lot of hope for if they trade Town, they can get a good return, and
Yeah.
Edwards and Gobert would be a really good duo. So yeah, I agree with you there. But with Towns on the team, hell no.
No. Next one up, do you have the same one or is it
I had Cleveland.
I had
I
Cleveland a little higher. I had Cleveland
okay.
a little higher.
I do have Mitchell and Garland just because I think at this point, like, I think all these teams past this area all are pretty successful, apart from just one, I guess. And now it
I
just
know which
leans
one you're talking
into
about.
yeah, you know what team I'm going to talk about.
I
But
know what you're
Mitchell and Garland, they're a really good team. Like Cleveland's a really good team, but the duo is kind of tough. Like I was looking at Evan Mobley to even play the spot, but like he's not really active offensively. So it's got to be Mitchell and Garland, two guards, dynamic guards. Mitchell could make the leap to be an All NBA kind of player next season. Garland's like a decent point guard, but like, I mean, Garland's kind of like a scoring guard. Like, he reminds me more of like a Clarkson, but like a little bit better in terms of all that. They're not really a true point guard. Mitchell kind of does the same thing, so it's kind of tough to rank these guys above who I'm gonna put above them. So I don't know. I think this is really a sweet spot for them. Like they're just not better than the other duos I have above
Mhm.
them.
Uh, I just have them a little higher because I was expecting them to do not that well last season, but they were what, the fourth seed?
And lost in the first round.
Okay, yes, that was a big blow, but that wasn't. It wasn't necessary because Mitchell played pretty well. It was just I think the defense, like the big guys, I kind of collapsed. They couldn't really guard against Randall, or
Mitchell did have pretty bad games. I'll be honest, he did have some pretty bad
but like
games.
compared to everyone else though,
But defense was a problem primarily.
defense
You're
was a
right.
big problem, and like they're already not sound defensively, so you can't put the blame primarily on them. If anything, you blame Jared Allen and Evan Mobley because they just couldn't contain them.
Yeah,
That's my opinion.
no, I
They
agree
do
with you.
rank a little higher since they were a top seed in the East last year. My next one goes to Luca and Kyrie.
Mm.
Yeah, they haven't shown they can do anything. They've won like what 3 games together. It's and yeah, and there's you already have a weak roster on defensively. It's
Very weak roster.
yeah,
Period. Not even defensively. Like period on Dallas.
yeah. How are you going to back that up with two superstars that have not been able to get things going? Like maybe they get things going this season. Dallas actually secures a top seed in the playoffs, but It's hard for me to say just because of the uncertainty behind everything right now.
Right. So I had Dallas above one team, which I'll say after this, but I think
Okay.
Dallas their offense was really good when they played. They played around like 20 plus like 20 to
Yeah.
25 games together. But their offense was really impressive. Like both of these guys played really well, especially Kyrie. He showed that he's still a superstar in the league. So if they can just outscore a bunch of these teams, which they probably could. I mean, Kyrie and Luca in itself is like an insane offense. Like you're getting top top five top five offense probably. I'm expecting them to get at least a top seven offense this year with Kyrie and Luca. It's just around them you don't see what they really have for team success. But I think the duo itself is actually pretty good. Like they worked pretty well together last season. So I'm expecting them to kind of carry that into next season. And if you have Luca who's like an MVP candidate and
Mm.
Kyrie who's like an all NBA guard, like I kind of have to put them above Cleveland in that regard.
Okay.
But what I will say about
That's
Dallas though, can I
yeah.
just say one thing, one thing, one thing.
Yeah.
Jaden Hardy, he's next. I'm saying he is going to be that third guy on the team that you rely on. It's not Josh Green. It's not Derek Lively. It's not Prosper. It's Jaden Hardy. He's the guy that's coming up. I've been saying that since last season. I think Jaden Hardy has potential to be like a number three guy on that team.
You heard it here, guys. You
Jaden
heard it
Hardy,
here
he's
first.
next on October 8th,
October 8th at
2023.
2:50 p.m.
2:50 p.m. I have officially announced Jaden Green as next up on Dallas.
That is that's fair. I'm not going to disagree with anything. I just hope to see some good wins from the Mavs this season.
Wins are important, yeah.
Yeah, before I can rank them any higher.
Fair enough. That's fair enough.
And now that's when Trey and DeJounte Murray come along.
Oh
I just
wow!
yeah,
After Dallas,
yeah.
that
It's like
is wow.
it's like I said. I think they just had a they just didn't have the ideal roster set up last season. But now with the two of them knowing exact roles for each other, it's more of just like, all right, I'll cover for you, you cover for me.
I don't know. I think the roster, other than Collins, like I think their offensive pressures alleviated a little bit, knowing that Collins is gone. But defensively,
Mm-hmm.
this team is still trash. I mean, Bogdan Bogdanovic, Sadiq Bey as your 2 and 3. You have Hunter probably as your backup 3. Like this team is they missed the playoffs in the East last season with a playoff structure which was not great. I mean, like Brooklyn sneaked in. Who's your Miami? I mean, they're probably a top five seed. But
Yeah.
like if a team like Chicago is fighting for a playoff spot, they're 1 win away. The Raptors, like, how could they not make the playoffs with the roster they had last year? Like this year, I do expect them to play better. They should make a playoff spot, but like Dallas chose not to make the playoffs last year. They just played like shit and they tanked to not make the playoffs. So I don't know. To have Trey and DeJounte, I think they're worse
I
in
don't know. I
itself
think
than Doncic and Irving. I don't know. I think the
I've
duo.
always just liked DeJounte Murray from San Antonio.
Okay.
And I think I'm a big Murray believer. I think he might get a bad rep because of how he switched up since leaving the Spurs.
And he's a shit
But
defender.
but overall, I think it's a duo that can actually achieve a lot if they try. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see next season.
We'll see.
It all depends on team
I know you
success,
don't
though.
I know you don't like that take. I know you don't
No,
like that
like I didn't
take.
have them. I didn't have them too far behind. Like they're only like a few spots behind. But like,
Yeah.
I could see where they could be in this area. Maybe not above Dallas though. Like
Hmm.
Doncic, Kyrie. I don't know, but I see the vision. Like they can be in
Yeah.
this Cleveland area.
Yeah. Yeah, and then Cleveland was above them.
Mm.
I just same reasoning. I just think they could be better, but this is like the very middle. This is nearing the top 10 now.
Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
cusp.
Yeah. They're a good team. They're a good duo. It's just you need that extra push, that extra all NBA selection before I
Yeah,
can be a
that's
little
all they
higher.
need. And I think
Who do you got next?
after,
Yeah.
I think we probably have the same duo. I hope that we have the same duo. I had Sacramento here. You didn't have Sacramento here. You had
And
them
New
higher.
Orleans. And New Orleans.
Where's New Orleans for me? Where's New Orleans? Did I not
Wait,
have New? I think I missed New Orleans.
This guy forgot New
Oh, I
Orleans.
forgot New Orleans. I straight forgot New Orleans. Oh my
Well,
god.
that's how forgettable they are, I guess.
Yeah, they're actually that irrelevant. But also the duo itself is like, who did you have? Because that's kind of the argument I guess I would
I
have for
had
myself.
Zion in a bracket CJ and Ingram
Mm.
because I don't know how reliable Zion is. Because
Yeah, Zion's the issue.
if it's Zion and Ingram, they might they might squeeze top 10. But if it's CJ and Ingram with Zion as a question mark, this is where they sit for me.
So let's say best case it's Zion Bi. Let's say that's the duo, Zion and Brandon Ingram.
Oh, they just make it one spot higher than the Sacramento Kings for me.
So okay,
I don't think
okay.
they're better than Randle and Brunson.
Hmm.
I don't think because they
Yeah, I don't
missed
think
the
so.
playoffs altogether.
Right.
But I think talent wise, if you were to pitch the New Orleans Pelicans against the Sacramento Kings, I think the Pelicans can still win against them.
I would think so. Yeah. Yeah. I had New York actually at the next team after Okay, I didn't
Okay.
even say Sacramento, but after Sacramento I had New York. But if
Okay.
I had to put for New Orleans score anywhere, it probably behind Sacramento. It just makes sense.
Yeah. So like New Orleans, Sacramento,
New York,
and
Sacramento,
then I had New York.
and then New York. Yeah, that's the same.
Okay,
That's the
so
same. Yeah.
same
So same
order,
thing.
same
Okay. So
order,
I just
same
forgot to
thing.
put New Orleans on the list, bro.
I forgot about the Pelicans.
Yeah, like they're that irrelevant. That's actually so facts. But if you look, okay,
Uh,
so
yeah.
yeah, New Orleans, Zion, he is a number one option in itself. We've seen it time and time again. He's a number one option. It's just can he play? If he can play more than 60 games, then they would be at this spot.
Yes.
But for the time being, it's kind of tough to. It's like we're hoping for best case scenario, so it's kind of hard to gauge to see if they'll even reach here.
Yeah. But then I think realistically, it might be CJ running the two man. It might be. If that's the case, I'm actually relatively comfortable keeping them in this spot because I think CJ's a very overlooked. I
Yeah,
think everyone just thinks of him as the ideal number two option, but he's a number two option that can give you like 21, 22 points a game.
we've seen it in Portland, how
We've
good he
seen
is
it
in the
in New
playoffs.
Orleans right now still.
Yeah,
He can take over when he needs to. And Brandon Ingram's just solid all around. Like I rarely see a bad night from him. I see he doesn't complain. He's a good teammate.
yeah. I mean, to say he doesn't complain is an understatement. FIBA, he was not even getting minutes, and he's just like, oh, it is what it is.
He just shrugged it off.
He just shrugged it off. Yeah. So Ingram, I mean, that's good for him. He's like a number 1B, I guess, option I would
Yeah,
say.
I could definitely see that.
See, I guess they would still be in this area. Now, if it was CJ and Ingram, probably have to put them around Cleveland, probably above Cleveland in that regard.
Hmm.
Because Ingram's still a really dynamic scorer. Like
Yeah,
the position he plays as well, like to have a player like him at the position he's at, that really bolsters his offense. I feel like.
he's one of those guys you see and just like, I wish I had him on my team. But then when you don't see him, he's just like, oh, you
Oh,
forget about him.
yeah, you forget about him. Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure. Like if
yeah.
he was on the Raptors, we'd be like, bro, this guy is like top
This
10.
guy's a
He's really
god.
good. He's a god, bro.
He's like God, bro.
It's only when he comes into town you're like, who's this guy? He's just scoring all the points, bro. Like what the fuck? I've never seen this guy.
And then he'd leave and just like,
Ah,
he
oh,
was
there he
there.
goes. Who's that
Yeah.
name?
But yeah, New Orleans Pelicans, I'm comfortable putting them here.
Yeah,
And then Sacramento, Fox and Sabonis. Not saying they had a fluke season. I just want to see more
right.
before I can definitively say they're ranked higher. But I think the spot for them really good
Yeah, like
considering the
coming to into last season. Yeah, like we thought that like they're just some two guys that are on a team together. Like maybe they'll miss the playoffs. No, like, they've shown that they can be a really dynamic duo together. Fox has made a huge jump, like massive jump. Because Sabonis, we've seen it in Indiana. He can be this
yeah.
guy. Fox is the one that really changed his game. Like start to shoot way better. Like able to hit that midi, it just completely changed his game. Like he's actually a threat from the outside now.
And
So
they
yeah,
got Golden State to what 7 games too.
yeah, and
That
they're like a Sabonis rebound away from probably making the next round. Like if Sabonis could grab a board, they would make the next round. So yeah, I think this duo
yeah.
like they prove that they're in this echelon, but for them to prove that they could be better than let's say Golden State, they have to prove that they can do it in the playoffs.
Yeah, for sure. And then we have New York, both
Yeah,
of us,
Randall
Randall and
Brunson,
Brunson.
we've seen in the playoffs, solid guys. Brunson, number one point guard, he's shown that he's like an all NBA caliber player.
Brunson definitely had a lot of talk to be an All NBA guard. Uh, he just didn't make it out in the end, just
Yeah,
because I guess there there were just other guys ahead of him.
I think it was just stats and all in all, it's just a stats.
Because he's not his stats are good, but they don't
They don't jump off the page like
scream.
Halliburton's
They don't.
would.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But New York, I think this is a very good spot for them, considering where they were a year ago, missing the playoffs entirely.
Mm.
And you bring in Jalen Brunson from the Mavericks. Wow,
That
that's
completely changed the team.
this is a team that will be in the top. I want to say top five for the next. I want to say 3 years. While Brunson's still under contract. In a minute, he signs elsewhere.
Gone. Like
Gone.
not even probably tier three. It's just they just are like one piece away from being a contender. I feel like they really are. Like
Probably.
there's all these jokes about New York signing all these big players like Zion and KD. Like they joke about it, but I think now they're actually a threat. Because if you go to this team as a star, you're going to a team that will probably like be a top contender in the East. If you have like if let's say you have Durant on this team, like bro, that team
Oh,
is
that's
easy contender. Brunson,
easy. Easy.
Durant, like, and Randall gets overlooked a lot. Like last season, because the season before last season, he actually kind of regressed. Like he shot a lot worse
Yeah.
than he would. People were like, okay, this is the real Randall. Like we've seen this in New Orleans when he had that 1 year. Like he just throwing up shots. But
But
this
this year,
season, he came back and proved that no, like I'm here to stay. Like I can be that guy that can get a bucket for you in the clutch. He can be the go-to guy, the low block guy. Like he does a lot on the court that I think gets overlooked because it's Randall. You know, you look at him, you're like, ah, he's just I don't know. He doesn't
the
scream like a
guy.
top guy. Yeah, like he's a Kuzma. Like, he kind of gets treated like Kuzma a little bit. Like, he's just a chucker, but he's not. Like he proved that he's actually a solid player.
Damn, all the Laker players, like 2014, 15 Laker players, are
No,
getting
that's
trashed.
actually so true. They all just seem like chuckers. Like Ingram he had the notion for a while. Clarkson got the notion. Randall, yeah, he got the same thing. The only one that kind of like people like are Lonzo and Josh Hart.
Yeah.
That's it.
And
Like,
Josh Hart's on this team too. That's crazy.
oh yeah, Josh Hart's on this team as well. I forgot about that.
But
That's
yeah,
yeah,
I think this duo is solid in this spot.
yeah, very solid.
And I think if my math's not wrong, that was number 11.
Oof.
And
Damn.
now we're entering the top 10.
Top 10.
All
This
right,
is
it's
tough. This is tough.
relatively similar. I think we both think the
Okay.
same. I think
Yeah, I think we do.
yeah.
You have the exact
So,
same teams up to this point, which is, I'm
which
glad.
is
Like,
crazy. Yeah.
let's go.
You
This is
you
good.
didn't have Washington up here, which is that's
Thank
all.
God for
That's all.
that. I mean, I was
Thank
thinking
God,
about
bro.
it, so yeah.
Ah, number 10, we got
So this is tough because I think if they go into it's Philly. Okay, it's Philly.
Philly. All right, we're good. It's
We're
Philly.
good, but it's tough
Good.
because like you don't know if Harden's gonna be on this team.
But
You had
Tyrese,
Maxi.
I
Nah,
don't care.
wow. That's
I don't
okay.
care. I
I
think
like
Maxi's
that.
an all-star this year. I think
I
Maxi
think
will
so too.
speak. So it doesn't matter if Harden goes or stays. I think they still retain the 10 spot.
Actually, that's interesting. That is because Maxi is really really good, and I think
He's
they're probably yeah
overlooked. He's
yeah,
overlooked because James Harden's in front of him.
which is crazy because Maxi like the last few years like he has not complained once, but he's been a corner sitter for like all of last season. Like until Harden goes down, it's like Maxi just sits in the corner and just catch and shoots, which he's really good at already. And
But
now
when
that
you give him
Maxi,
the
yeah,
ball, when
he's
you give him the
insane.
ball, he's different, bro. He's him.
One of the best finishers for a guard in the league. I feel like every time he gets to the rim, like he has crafty finishes, shoots the ball
Agreed.
really well. Like, yeah, actually, you know what? Maybe I should not give a fuck if Harden plays or not. Like Maxi can be that number
Bro,
one guy on that team.
no, I don't. I'd even have Tyrese Maxey in brackets, but if you think about it, if Harden leaves, it does not matter.
Hmm.
It really does not matter. I think Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid can be a top team in the East or top duo in the East.
You like
I don't
open
know
my
what team.
mind. Like, wow.
It's crazy.
But if Harden and Embiid are on the team, like, would you still have Maxi and
Y-
Embiid?
Bro, if Harden's still on a team, that's better for Philly because they got another tool, another weapon they can just use if Randall
Wow, you're
falters.
saying Harden's the tool now. He's not even like not even the number one guy. If Harden's on
Well,
the team,
Embiid,
okay, let's be honest. Okay, let's for the Philly. Even though we love Maxi, I'd rather have Maxi than Harden at this point.
yes, yes.
But Philly would still use Harden over Maxi.
Because why wouldn't you? If you have a former MVP, why would you not want that?
Yeah, exactly. So,
That's
but
my reason.
even if whoever it is, they're still in the spot, which is surprising. Like Maxi,
Hmm.
wow. I mean, I'm proud of Maxi to see where he's come from. He was like a late pick in the first round a few years ago, and
Yeah.
like he's kind of been like that bench scorer. You had him
But
in the
yeah,
same tier as like Shake Milton, kind of, but he's grown from that.
He's went from Shake Milton to future
To
All
James Harden. Like
James Harden.
he's the new
Exactly,
James
bro.
Harden. So it's cause I'm proud of this guy.
He's a better James Harden.
He's a better James Harden, younger and better
That's
hair.
that's
You know what I'm
that's my
saying?
that's my take.
You know, I agree with you. I'm taking Harden off this. I'm putting Maxey, and they're still being top 10. So that's
Yeah.
good on them.
Number 9.
I'd Golden
You wanna
State.
go?
I'd Golden
Ooh.
State. I think that the age is gonna hit Clay really hard because I think it's still occurring Clay. But Clay is not the defender he used to be. He's still a great shooter, one of the best shooters in the league. Curry's still the number one guy, but I think if I look at the teams above, it's all guys that are like in their prime right now and are playing all NBA ball right now. Whereas Clay he's like kind of borderline all star. They complement each other really well. It's just I can't really put them above these other guys that have like the superstardom kind of talent that they possess.
Hmm. You might have changed my mind then.
It's just Clay. Like
Loki.
it's just not Clay from
Yeah.
4 years ago, 5 years
Yeah.
ago. It's
You make a very solid point because I was looking at this. I had Golden State a little higher up. I was like, Clay's actually putting up the same exact numbers as he did from his prime years
he
when they were
does.
winning like
Yeah,
championships. Because Clay just he was probably the perfect complementary piece to Curry,
yeah.
and that's kind of why I just kept them at like where I have them. But age is I completely forgot about age,
I think
and
his defense has slipped a lot, and like he's just
his
not able to
defense.
play 40 plus minutes.
Yeah, because what he played like barely 30 last season,
Cause
and you have
even in the playoffs, yeah, like he played a lot of minutes, but you seen at the end of games, like his shot is just not falling. Like he's tired.
yeah
He's just not able to play
like
the same as he
you
has.
s- your duo becomes from Steph and Clay to Steph and Wiggins because you can't rely too much on Clay anymore at that stretch of the game. And
Okay,
sometimes
let's not
it's
go
just
there. Let's
Steph.
not say. Let's.
No, it is. It's true
Is
though.
it? Is it? I think
It's
Clay
true
is
though.
still. I think Wiggins is like a corner sitter when it's time to win. When it's time to
But
win it's still Curry and Clay. I'll be honest.
okay, but you can like Wiggins has stepped up if Clay's not providing,
Okay, yeah, true, true.
and that's where my argument comes in. Because if Clay can't play that 40 minute mark anymore, who are you gonna put? Rudy Gay?
Summer League Rudy Gay, like no way.
No way.
Maybe
It's
Jordan
you're
Poole if
putting
he was still, Jordan Poole.
yeah.
Washington represent.
I think you might have changed my mind, but I'm gonna just say I did. I had Kawhi and PG in number 9.
Okay, okay,
Health.
yeah.
Both these guys are never healthy. We've been saying every year, oh, they're a contender this year because they're gonna be healthy. No fucking way. They're never healthy, bro. It's just that's just
It
the
sucks,
truth.
but it's the truth. Yeah,
I can't put them any higher because they haven't made a conference. PG has made a conference finals, not even
yeah.
Kawhi. It's I can't say much for this team, but they have the talent. They just haven't proved anything, and I can't say anymore.
That sucks because it always is down to health with these guys,
It's
which is
always
true.
hell for these two, yeah. And at some point, you're gonna have to be Steve Ballmer and think, do I blow these guys up? Because clearly they need more help and I don't have the money anymore.
Balmer not having money anymore. I don't know about that. Balmer
Hey,
is like
bro,
deep
this guy's spending
pockets.
like $3 billion on this team every
Yeah,
single year.
with the tax, yeah, like they're getting cooked, so it's true.
Yeah. So yeah, that's where I'm coming from, but I could be wrong.
Mm. No, I had a toss up between the Clippers and Miami, and I actually ended up going Miami down here at 9
Miami's my next one.
or
I
8,
just
I guess.
talent wise, Bam and Butler just it doesn't match up to everyone else above.
Which is crazy because they made the playoffs
They made the
two in the
playoffs, which is
last, like,
we're
yeah,
still disrespecting them,
I know.
which sucks.
It's
I
like
don't,
okay, well, I think the coaching goes a long way with these guys, and Butler just becoming Michael Jordan in the playoffs also changes that. Like when it comes to playoff duos, maybe you have to rank these guys a bit higher,
yeah.
because Butler just turns into prime MJ like T Mac or something. So, but just at the time being, I'm looking at the name. I had Kawhi and PG above, but even looking at let's say Boston or Milwaukee, like the talent is just there for those teams to be like a
Hmm.
perennial duo. Whereas
Yeah.
Butler Adebayo is like a really solid duo that played really well when it comes time to play playoff games. But the players itself, you can't match them up against these duos that
Yeah.
we have above.
What did you think of his haircut?
Butler,
Yeah,
I think you can pull it off. Like I see the vision. I see how yours is swept to the side. Like
because he
you can
had
pull it
one
off.
he had it for 1 day, and then after
Bro,
media day he changed it back.
it's every year, bro. It's like the media day. It's like the Brandon Tanev. If you watch NHL, like Brandon Tanev, he has this media day picture, and every year it just he makes this crazy ass face on media day, and he gets crazier every year. So I think Butler is doing the same thing where he just next. Okay, let's. What do you think he's gonna do next year? Like if you had to think,
Next year
what do you think he would
he's
do?
gonna shave everything,
Shave it off? I was thinking
and
bald
then
cap. Yeah,
next day it's back. Like
it's back. Even the beard. He
it's
shaves
back,
the beard, and one day the beard's back. Like
and the beard's back. Exactly. That's what's gonna
miraculously.
happen next. Yeah.
I pray he goes. Oh, he already did that though. He did that with the with the dreads. He shaved his beard off too.
No, bro. He just does it right in the middle and just like
Oh
leaves.
my
Yeah.
god, dude! You should do like the old man, like get the reverse
The
fade.
top, like the hairs over there.
Yeah, the hairs. You should do that. Maybe that's what I do next year. That'd be hilarious.
Next year you get the unibrow.
Oh, and then he recruits AD to the Heat because that's
Yeah,
where he's supposed to
exactly.
go. Oh, interesting, interesting. Yeah, every year is something crazy with
It's
Butler.
something crazy, but like I just love it because he's trying to troll media for it, and then
Yeah, yeah.
they end up having to use his 2K.
Yeah, that was so funny, bro. Like they tried to use this 2K picture, bro. But you can't. You have to go back to
Like
that picture with
yeah,
the dreads.
exactly.
I guarantee
This
they're
year's
not
gonna
even
be.
gonna use it. They're not even gonna use that pic. They're gonna go back to like 2 years ago, like back when he had normal hair.
And then he's gonna complain, and then the media has to change it back.
They have to change it back. Yeah.
But yeah, Miami is above the Clippers for me.
Yeah, it's a toss up. So I can agree with you. Yeah. After them, this is where it gets meaty. This is like the creme of the crop.
Give it the crop.
What'd you have?
Memphis,
Memphis.
Memphis. I have Ja, and I know it's a weird spot, but I think Desmond Bain is the duo, not Jaren
Not
Jackson,
JJJ.
not JJJ.
Yeah, I had the same duo actually. I'm not sure why I
Oh, you did?
reacted that
Okay,
way.
all
So
right.
I don't know why I reacted that way, but yeah. Yeah,
Because
Memphis. Yeah, you go ahead.
yeah, I just figured Desmond Bain he's a borderline all-star. He should have won Most Improved, and
Yeah,
but it went to Ja for some reason.
somehow the second year player that became better somehow went to
The
him.
Rookie of the Year that got better.
Yeah, like
It's
wolf, most
so
improved,
weird.
bro. That makes no sense.
I mean, I think Desmond Bain should have won it. Ja Moran, Desmond Bain, that's my duo. They've secured the second seed last year. Even minus his antics, I think this team could go all the way to the finals.
Yeah, for sure. The way the
Yeah.
team's built, and I had Desmond Bain, like Jaren Jackson Jr. He's a really talented player, but I think Bain's like that true number two. Like he's kind of like I don't want to like I'm not trying to compare it all that much, but like
Hmm.
Curry and Clay in their prime, like it's like a different dynamic. Like where Ja is like that ball dominant guard that gets all the attention, like he's super like dynamic, but then yeah, Bain that is waiting on the wing with all these open threes, like he can attack the basket. Like you kind of forget about Bain, whereas you forget about Clay. Like you don't realize that they're on that team until you play them, and you're like, holy fuck, Bain's scoring
Holy
like
fuck! I
25
need
plus a
to.
game.
I actually need to guard him
Yeah,
and
like
not leave him open.
exactly. Like you might have to give more attention to Bain than you have to Ja at some points. So yeah,
Yeah,
this dude is
and
scary, and especially
Bane can take over.
exactly. Yeah, we've seen it
Bane
last
can take
season.
it. He he's a better Clay.
With this wingspan, I don't know, like with this wingspan he has, but he like in terms of like
You could play like that.
true, like we see him do no, but you I think you have kind of a case there. Like he's a really good shooter, like lethal off
If
the
you
dribble.
if you put Desmond Bain in the mid 2010s instead of Clay, do
I'm not
they
going
win
there.
more?
I'm
Do
not
they
going
win
there.
more chips
No, they don't.
or not?
No, they don't. Clay in his prime was insane because he was like a number one defender, and he was probably the best wing defender in the league at that point. Like before Kawhi turned into Kawhi, Clay was
'Cause-
elite.
but Kawhi was been probably the number one in my opinion since 2013, 2014. He's been number one.
But I think on teams with Kawhi, it's like Kawhi has also been surrounded around great defenders as well, to where even if he does get blown by, it's
No,
like it's easier for him to recover. Where Clay is making up for Curry's defense, and especially back then, he was terrible at Curry. Clay is out here just defending the best guys night in, night out, and it's like he's still able to produce like 25 plus on offense every game.
That's fair.
Like Bane, I don't know if he's there defensively as Clay.
Discussion for another day. We'll discuss
Another day,
another
maybe
day.
next year we'll have this because this is Desmond Bane's breakout year,
Yeah,
so you never know.
He
but
should be making an All-Star team this
he
year.
should, especially with Ja out. Like you expect that to happen.
Yeah.
So
All
yeah,
right.
it's
But
just
yeah,
it's
that's
a good place for them. Yeah.
then you.
So after Memphis, I had Boston.
Ooh, that's a far from where I had them.
I think after Boston is like when you get to that actual like okay, Tatum's a superstar, Brown's also a star, and they made the finals, and they probably should have made the finals last year. But with the weaknesses that they have together, it's like Tatum could disappear in some games. He really can. And if he's not playing the best, he's just gonna be chucking shots. Whereas like I just don't see them having like a secondary option where if they're missing shots, what can they do? Neither are the greatest finishers at the rim. Like Brown does tend to
Yeah.
get stuffed very very often. Like he's not really a dynamic finisher. He's more of a jump shooter. And Tatum, he's a real superstar on this team. But if I'm looking at teams above, it's like their superstars I'll probably take above Tatum.
That's very fair. I'm just also considering age as well.
Age, yeah, it is a factor. It is a factor.
Because these two are probably the youngest duo in terms of in the top, like the top five-ish area. They're probably the top duo in terms of
Yeah,
age. And I would take that explosiveness and that like willingness to attack any day over someone who's like more aware of their like, oh, my back hurts or something like that.
who's
But
backwards in the top five here?
oh, my ankles hurt. Sorry, 80.
Oh, okay, there you go.
But for me, now this is where I put Stephen Clay. But
Wow.
you made a really good argument where I might have to slide them down a little bit. But I just figured Clay is still putting up the same like stats,
Yeah,
and
you're
you
right.
still have solid good 3 and D defenders around him. Like, and while they probably aren't the number one defender on the wing that Clay used to be, uh, they still are serviceable and very reliable for Clay to get back on offense without having to use too much energy. And Curry's just
Right.
going to Curry. Curry just doesn't seem to slow down.
Yeah, it's like
He,
you expect him to, but he's like 34, 35, but he's still
no,
MVP Curry.
yeah, it's not
He kind of gets
happening.
better, which is weird. Like he gets better. He's a better
Well,
defender.
his we talked about this before. His is a skill game. It's not a it's his talent isn't based off of athleticism. It's
Hmm.
if you can shoot better, you can just keep working on it, and it gets better over time. That's just how it is.
It's a good
That's how
point.
players like JJ Redick and Kyle Korver managed to stay in the league for so long.
Yeah,
Yeah, but yeah, I just figured since Steph is putting up like 37, 30, 39 points a night, you got to have Clay up there as well. And Steph carries the bulk of this duo, but
right.
still very serviceable.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough. So who'd you have
Top
after?
five.
Yeah, who'd you have? Because that was my top five, I guess.
Yeah. So it's top five now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. LeBron and AD, number five.
Hmm.
I know we've been saying how they were like, we're not LeBron. They're not LeBron and
Top
AD.
five. Did I miss a duo? I,
Did you?
this is a tough. Did I miss another duo? There's no way. Let's just keep going because if this is a top five, because I just said Boston and that was my five.
Boston's your five. Maybe I missed out because I didn't. I said Memphis. I had Philly, Clippers, Miami, Memphis, Golden State,
Let's just keep
and
going.
now five more.
Let's keep going.
Lakers, age and health.
Hmm.
If it weren't for those two things, number one, in my opinion. But age and health. And you can never doubt LeBron. It's just that
Exactly.
simple. Yeah.
Number one is interesting though. Number one is interesting.
I think
If not
because,
Asian health. Okay, if not Asian health, then probably because they're probably at one point after their championship year they were number one, number two in the league. I feel like.
yeah. But like it got to a point where like LeBron was suffering more injuries than he ever did in Miami and Cleveland. AD just has glass ankles. But when he does play, he's a fucking beast.
Hmm.
So you can't deny the talent that's there. And their games, they're both solid. Well, AD is a god defensively, and LeBron is solid there. And they both have the offensive output to score 30 a night.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. That duo's fine. They just gotta keep doing what they've been doing and stay healthy.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Not much to
that's
say
number
about them.
five.
Like they've shown that they
Yeah,
can win. They've already won before, and
yeah,
they're kind of like the same players. Like nothing really changed in their games. You're
yeah.
just hoping AD plays more minutes and LeBron shoots better. That's it.
Hmm. And the final four. maybe the final four we'll see in the conference finals.
Amazing.
Number
I
four.
don't. Anyways, who's number 4?
Number four, Phoenix.
Okay.
Do you have that?
Oh, you didn't have Boston yet, did you?
No, Boston is
Okay,
ahead.
that makes sense. Okay.
Boston's ahead, yeah.
So
Phoenix
for
is
you,
my
you're
number
4.
four.
Okay. So
Yeah.
Phoenix is my number 3 then.
I just think Booker and KD, it's a duo you cannot. You look at the lineup in the night. You're the coach. Shit, like this is, and then you can't even forget you have Beal, just being low key somewhere. You still have Eric Gordon. Still have Yusuf Nurkic. You still have a bunch of these guys that can shoot and complement them. It's Booker and KD in itself is just it's a nightmare.
It is. It is.
But
Like,
yeah,
I think
that's
this duo is like, I think it's a top 3. Like, is the most talented guys in the league, and it's a duo. I feel like.
mm.
Whereas like Boston,
But they,
kind of.
they haven't won anything together yet. That's my argument for putting them into
That is
number four.
true. They have not won anything together yet, which is why you put them down here. But at the
Yeah,
same time, Booker has made the finals by himself, pretty much. Like
yeah.
Chris Paul was on that team, but like it really is just Booker carrying the load. Durant has made the finals before, maybe not on teams by himself, but he's shown that he can be the number 1 guy and take over series against great teams.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like
Well, the Finals MVPs should prove it.
Finals MVP. I don't. I mean, let's be honest, like those Finals MVPs. Like he's just he was on team with Curry and Clay. Like kind of unfair. But I
Well,
look at more of
they
them.
they took the gravity away from him.
True, true.
Yeah,
But I look at more of it his days in Brooklyn, where like him against Milwaukee was like insane. Like he was absolutely going
that
crazy
was.
against Milwaukee. Like that proves to me that he can be that guy. So on a team with Booker and Durant, even last year
I'm
we've
thinking
seen.
at the OKC days.
Well, that's a bit too young for old KD.
No, 20 like 25th like MVP KD was a dog, bro.
But
He
he's probably
just
not the same guy now.
yeah no, but like he has the ability to go all out.
Hmm.
He does.
Yeah.
The only time he couldn't was 2016 when he kind of just fell apart against Warriors in Game
The whole
7.
team fell apart. Yeah, true.
Yeah,
But yeah,
but
I think yeah, yeah, you're right.
aside from that, he has the ability to do anything. So
And with Booker,
yeah,
who I think is better than KD, like this team is like they have to be like a top 3 contender probably. Like I guess top 5 now with Boston like in like coming into the mix, but like Booker is he's shown like 3 4 years in a row that he is a number 1 guy. Like he can take over games and shoot extremely efficiently. Like and his defense has gone better year after year. Like
yeah, it does.
for me, he's the guy that I look at to make this duo. Like he's a duo with Durant as a second guy, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, this is Booker's team. It's not
This is Booker's
KD's team.
team,
KD is no longer the face of a franchise. He's just the complementary piece now,
which is I mean on
which is
many other
wild.
teams he would
Which
be
is
number 1
wild.
guy. Yeah, like if he was
Like
on the
if you
Raptors, he'd be number 1.
any team underneath Golden State, in my opinion. So I had like Memphis, Miami, Clippers. Like any team underneath that is KD's team.
Yeah,
But then Golden State is still Steph's, Lakers still LeBron's, and then every other team is still respectively their own
yeah,
teams.
respective their own teams. Yeah,
Yeah.
which is crazy because Booker is like the one because Booker's name stand out so much. Like LeBron, okay, you understand. Like Curry, okay, you get it. But Booker is like you kind of like I feel like people don't want to accept that he is that guy. People don't want to accept the fact that Booker is that
Well,
guy.
it's because he's still like age wise and experience wise, he's still younger, but he's proven that he can get to a point where he's the number one option.
He's made the finals and has played really well in the finals against the championship team. Like, what more
He
can you
went
ask of him?
he went up 2-0 against Milwaukee.
Yeah, like if he wins the finals that year, like you're looking at Booker as I mean, he
As a
already is the best
top
shooting guard in the league.
No,
But
you're
okay,
looking at Booker as one of the best players in the league.
which I think he is. I think he's top 5. IMO. I think he's top 5.
I'm still a little on the
I'm.
fence about that. But
It's tough. It's tough because Team
what
USA. Are you starting him over Kawhi?
yes,
Yeah,
we're starting.
you probably
We're
have to.
starting
Yeah.
Booker over Kawhi now. Maybe in 2019 no, but now yes.
Well, 2019, Kawhi was the best player on the planet, so it makes sense. But yeah, it's crazy to think Booker has come such a far way.
So is that your number 4 as well, or
That's my number 3 because I had
who's
Boston
your
at
number 4?
5.
Boston. Who's your
and
number 4?
LA at 4.
Okay. So I guess same reasoning for me. Health and
Yeah, it's like
yeah,
they could be higher, but they're not.
health and age. Health and age. Number 3 goes to for me, right? Denver Nuggets.
Behind Boston, Ryan. They just won the finals.
Denver Nuggets
Whoa.
are a championship roster, or like it's a championship duo, but Murray only really explodes in the second half of the season. He has a very slow first half of every single year he's been in the league. He's always kind of like taking it slow the first 2 months, and then by the time after the All-Star break, after the trade deadline, that's when he goes off. So I can't say that for sure that he's consistently the duo is consistently top 3 or top 2. Sorry.
Damn.
Yeah,
Do I make my argument now or later?
you can make it now. I don't
Because you
mind.
have Boston over them.
Yeah, I do
I
have
think
Boston
from
over
what
them.
we've seen, okay, regular season for a lot of these players don't really matter.
Also, I'm biased
Oh,
because
shit.
Jalen Brown, right? It's Jalen
Okay,
Brown. I'm not gonna. Yeah, but
that's fair enough.
continue.
Fair enough. Okay, now I understand where you're coming from. So now
Yeah.
I have no argument. No, I think Murray and Jokic, we've seen it in the playoffs time after time, and I think playoffs. Okay, I seen this on Twitter one time. Someone said like Murray's the only player in NBA history that's like showing me that you can do it in the regular season. Like he's the one guy that you've seen it in the playoffs, you need to see in the regular season, which is really weird because the playoffs is what matter more.
Yeah.
But Murray, he has started every year seemingly injured for the past 2 or 3 years, so it makes sense that he starts a bit slow. It's harder for him to get like acclimated to the team, especially coming off of injuries. But we've seen that like this year in the playoffs, where he comes through in the playoffs and plays against the best teams. They play against Phoenix, they play against LA, and then they play against Miami, who's made the finals before and is a really stout defensively team. And the duo itself, I had them at number 1 because the pick and roll with Murray and Jokic, probably the most unstoppable modern day offense. Like after the Golden State Warriors in like 2019 with KD, it's like Murray and Jokic are unguardable. There is no weakness in that offense.
It's a winning Karl Malone and John Stockton.
Literally, it's like you can't give up anything. Like both of these guys can shoot threes. Both of these guys can attack the basket. Both of them are actually really elite in the post. Like Murray for a guard is really elite in the post. There's no weakness, and on defense, maybe they're not the greatest, but like it doesn't really matter because the team they have around them. The duo itself works really well. They just won a championship with it, and Murray has proven that he's like an All NBA caliber guard. Like he's better than Mitchell, he's better than Halliburton, he's better than.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'd probably put him in the same echelon as SGA in my opinion.
Ooh, that's a
Because Murray's offense itself, like maybe it's not a team of Jokic, but if you look at the player individually, I think that his offense in itself is efficient. He has really good shot selection, and the long twos that he takes, he makes them more than like 45% of the time. He attacks the basket, like he's pretty much Chris Moves my player IRL. So I don't know. I think this duo, like you have to put them at number 1 just from what they've proven, and the players that they are individually.
my argument always comes back to like his
The
slow
regular
start.
season. Why
Yeah.
is that the argument, Ryan? It's regular season basketball.
Well, like regular season basketball determines how you how you're supposed to be like matched up in the postseason.
And they made the first seed with Murray playing bad. If Murray plays good,
Maybe
82
I'm
0.
still I think I might be still disrespecting them then
I think so.
because
I think Murray gets no respect. Like I think he could make an argument for top 15, top 10 player in the league. He could. He's
yeah, he
probably
probably could, but I'm not doing that for some reason. It's
damn. I think I'm just more willing to change my idealisms.
also you were high on the Nuggets since time, so
Yeah, since like 2018. So I
yeah,
guess
so what
it's like I've seen
what
it
was
coming.
I?
I guess. Yeah, I don't know.
I was like I've been Milwaukee, I've been Indiana. It's right.
That's fair enough. But Murray gets no
Yeah,
respect.
we're
Absolutely
gonna
no
we're gonna have to
respect.
get back. We're gonna have to get
Yeah,
back to this on another episode. It's tough for me to
like he's better than Trey Young.
debate it. Yeah, he
He's
is
better
better
than
than Trae
De'Aaron
Young.
Fox. He's
Yes,
better than Kyrie, I would say.
yes, he is.
Like
He's
it's the
better than
argument.
Harden.
Like if he's
He's
better
better
than
than Harden,
so he's a top 15 player. Like if that's the case,
but he's not better than Steph.
he's not better than Steph, obviously.
He's
Like,
not better,
but
not better than Ja.
he's better than Jalen Brown. Ja is
Yes, I
like
can.
you
I
can make an
can.
argument. I would
No,
say he's better than
I
Ja.
think
I would say he's better than Ja.
I think Jaws better than Jamal Murray.
I think Ja's a worse shooter, a worse defender. He doesn't have like the basketball IQ that he does. Doesn't have a post game. He's a better attacker at the rim, not a better mid range shooter. Like I think Murray's game is so complete that if he has his own team, it's like you don't know what it's gonna be because he's been on a team with Jokic. But you've seen that when he does get the chance to make his own shot, run his own offense, he's elite. He is. He just is. Like he has no weaknesses on offense. He really doesn't. I don't know. I think he gets really disrespected just because he's on a team with Jokic.
Maybe, yeah, because they've been playing together, and I
Yeah.
guess like you only see the evolution of the MVP and not really his running mate, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that he's, I guess, not rated as high. But I think the player in Jamal Murray is elite.
Hey man, number three is still pretty good.
It's still pretty good, but behind Boston, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like Jalen Brown is
Boston's number
not.
two. Boston's
He's
number two. I don't
Jalen.
know. That duo is just super young and just. I know they haven't won anything, but they lost to an experienced Golden State squad. Like it's tough for me to say no to anything lower than two.
But a team that won the championship. Like I
I
don't
know,
know.
I know, I know.
I thought winning means everything to you, Ryan. Like what is the switch up?
Might just have to come back to me in a month.
Okay.
We'll switch it up. We
Bet.
might switch things up. And then, is that your number three or two? No, your number one is Denver, right?
Yeah.
Is your number three Phoenix?
Yeah.
So your number two is Milwaukee.
Milwaukee. Yeah. I thought we
That's
were
my
gonna
number
flip flop
one.
on this. Wow.
That's my number one. Milwaukee's my number one.
It's a fair case for Milwaukee. Yeah.
Yeah.
Giannis
No.
and Dame. I
Hey,
can't even argue. Yeah.
you have two top 75 players. And Dame just had his best season last year. Giannis was an MVP candidate.
Yeah. It's
They're
hard to make
winning.
an argument. Yeah.
I think they're winning the chip this year. I think they're winning this year.
It's
And
fair enough.
with the pieces around them, it's not hard to say they aren't. The only real challenge to me is probably going to be Boston because they have so many pieces that can like threaten Milwaukee's like offensive game plan. But defensively, like you have so many good pieces that can help out. You just have like DPOYs after DPOYs in Milwaukee. It's not fair.
Only thing that I would make an argument for is the coach for Milwaukee. First year coach, it's tough. That's the only thing that could change your like it could make or break your season. Like the coaching.
Nurse.
He's in Philly.
I mean, like he won in his first year.
True, but
Yeah,
that's a pretty rare case. You know, did James
it's
Borrego work
happened.
out for Charlotte?
Hey man, that roster was not built to win.
Okay, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. But you never know. Like the coaching is volatile, so that's what makes or break
Coaching
the
is
season.
underrated. Coaching is super underrated.
If they had Spoelstra, they're probably a minus favorite to win the title. Like they're probably like minus 100 to win the title if they had Spoelstra.
Probably.
So
But we don't know. Was it Griffin? Or,
yeah, Adrian Griffin.
Yeah, Adrian Griffin. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
We'll see.
Coach Griffin. I mean, Coach Griffin's been has shown he can do a lot of good things in Toronto. So.
I can't speak on that. I've never seen him coach.
Oh,
He's
okay.
coaching. He's coached before, but I've never seen him actually coach.
All right, and that's
That's the top.
that's our
wow.
list. That's our top 30.
Interesting
That's
final three teams though. Interesting.
Hey man, top. It's better than Washington.
We'll see. I'm playing now.
Washington ends up being
Washington's the best
first
duo in the league.
seed,
They win the title.
first.
If
Oh
they win the
God.
title, I mean, goddamn.
I'm retiring, man.
You retiring?
I'm
Okay.
I'm not watching ball anymore.
I will literally. I'll start going on TV. Like I'll make a case for going on TV. I'll be the new like, dropping dimes 20 on Twitter, bro. I just see everything.
You'll be like Austin Chang, like reporting instead of
Reporting.
Woj or Shams.
Yeah, I'm like I'll actually start making the sport book bets. You know, like I'll be making all the bets on like Bet365 because I just know everything.
Oh, you just know everything.
Jordan Poole
Washington
most
is-
improved though. Jordan Poole most improved. It's coming. It's coming.
I don't think that is. No, I think that's reasonable. That's reasonable.
That's it. Because like I mean,
That's-
the situation
I mean,
he's in. I mean,
He's on a new team now. He has so many more.
Yeah,
It
first
always
option on any
happens.
team. Yeah, it always
It
happens.
always happens. You have Victor Oladipo moving to Indiana. You have
Larry
Lauri
Markkinen to the Utah
Markkinen.
Jazz.
You have. I was going to say D'Angelo, but Pascal won that year. You have just so many people just winning them, and besides Ja Morant.
Okay, that one was bullshit. So
That one
we don't have
was
to worry
not
about
lit.
that. That was just bullshit.
Yeah. But yeah, that's our list.
Yeah.
How long was that?
Ryan, we have you and end the podcast. Let's end the podcast for the viewers before we get to that, all right? Thank you for listening, guys. We'll hopefully see you guys in another 2 weeks. Hope you enjoyed the episode, and we'll see you guys.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. I love you.
Love you.